Hello guys, Jim here from Outdoor Adventure Productions and producer of Carolina Outdoor Magazine TV and Outdoor Sportsmen's Television. I'm here today to show you my 6 tips that help us become a better outdoor producer, and to hopefully show you some tricks and tips that we've learned over 25 years of filming outdoor television, and to help you to be a better outdoor videographer. Okay, here's my 5 tips. Tip number 1, good audio. Now guys, there's nothing more frustrating as to be out filming on the lake or in the woods and having the wind, messing with your audio. It happens all the time, but you can control this a little bit. First thing you need to do is either have a lapel mic. It can either be a wired lapel mic that's wired right to the camera, and a lot of times that's not really an option. So what you can do then is you can get a wireless one, and them work really, really well. Or a camera mounted microphone, which is nice to have in situations where you've got to have the camera in different locations all the time. Now, on them microphones, like I said, the wind can be very disruptive to your video. Make sure you have yourself a wind boot or a buffer, wind buffer, and what that does is that goes on your camera mounted microphone. They come, a lot of the times they'll come with a piece of foam that's a wind buffer. Now that doesn't work good in a lot of circumstances because the wind will penetrate that. But if you just get you one of these right here and it just fits on top of that boot, just like so, fits on top of that other, that other foam boot just like that, and it looks kind of weird, but you know what? If you're out there fishing in a windy condition or out in a field in a windy condition, this will knock down the wind problem that you're having by about 75%. Really, and it doesn't hurt the audio at all either, so it's really a good investment. Okay, now, wind buffer and good microphone. That's my first tip. Tip number 2, okay, lighting. Now, it's very hard to control the lighting in an outdoor situation. When you're filming in the outdoors, you don't always have the right light at the right time, like you do in a studio or a set situation. So one thing you need to remember is that when you're filming, always make sure that the sun is either behind the camera or behind the cameraman. Okay, and that way you're not going to have a backlit situation. I see so many videos out there that, the video is really good, but the filming is done into the camera, into the sun, and it makes the subject backlit. Now, a lot of times this is not acceptable because it just doesn't look good. But what I can suggest to you is a tip that I've learned is that if you're out fishing and you get a fish on, just get on the trolling motor and turn the boat just a little bit so that the camera is not looking right into the sun. It'll increase your video quality a whole bunch. So just keep that in mind. You can control that just by setting up your shots a little bit ahead of time and facing the sun to the camera's back or to the cameraman's back, okay? All right, tip number 3, natural density filters or polarizers. Now, these are good because a natural density filter will cut down on the glare on your lens of your camera. Now, a lot of times glare from the water or just glare from the sun being so bright can really make your camera what I call squinting. It can make the white balance, if you've got it on automatic, and the exposure, it'll make it twitch in and out, and that can be a real problem situation when you get to the editing table. Another thing you can do is you can put a polarizer on your camera. Now, polarizers will act the same for your camera as a pair of Polaroid sunglasses. When you're out fishing and you look down in the water and you put a pair of Polaroid sunglasses on, and you can actually see down in the water and see fish a little bit better, it'll do the same thing for your camera, allowing you to be able to look down in the water and see them fish better. And it will also cut back on the glare and the shadows and stuff if you're filming through glass, or if you're filming in a situation where you have to film through a window. Okay, tip number 4 is a real important one, and that's to be steady on your camera. There's nothing worse than being out and watching a show and having the camera jumping, hopping up and down, you know, on your subject while he's, you know, doing whatever it is the subject is doing. Set up your shots. I mean, if you want to leave your camera running from one shot to the next, that's fine. I do that a lot. But edit that part out, because it's really annoying to see that when you're playing it back. So just set your shots up, and when it comes time for the shots, make sure you're either using a tripod, which you can get real inexpensive, $25, $30. You can buy a tripod. It'll help you a bunch. Another thing you can do is you can get you one of these mounts that goes on your camera, and that makes a big difference as far as holding that camera really steady. It really does. Another thing that they have is you can get a steady cam like so, and this more or less just balances your camera. Your camera goes on here, and all your equipment, your lapel mic receiver, your microphone, and maybe a light, that all can go on top of this, and you can adjust these parts on here to balance the camera. And this is a big plus. It makes a big difference if you're out and you're following your subject with the camera and you want to get a good steady shot. So steady, steady, steady. That's, you know, that's very important. And tip number 5 is going to be try to pick the right time of day for your location shooting. Now, I like to shoot somewhere around 10 to 3 o'clock because the sun is pretty much overhead. Your lighting is pretty much even, and also what it does is it makes it so you aren't so able to get into a backlit situation. Now, you can't always shoot like that. Sometimes you're going to be out there in the morning in that tree stand good and early, or sometimes right to the last bite in the evening, and you can't always be in that situation. But when you can, just try to control that filming time a little bit, and it'll help you to be a little bit better. It'll help you to have a little bit better footage. Now, two things I want to talk about is cameras real quick. You know, cameras, you don't have to spend a lot of money. The camera I'm filming on here, right here in front of me, is an expensive camera. You don't have to have it. You know, you can go out and buy you a $200 or $300 camera at your local box store. Make sure it's high definition. 720 and 1080i is what you really need to have, because if you're shooting in 1080i, a lot of times the computer will jump and it can't process the information that good. So I like to shoot sometimes in 720. You'll get just as good a crisp and clear picture, and it will show full screen on television. So you can go to a camera like that. They don't cost a lot of money. This is a very, very good camera because it'll focus quickly, and the white balance will work really quickly. It's almost not even noticeable when you leave it in an automatic situation and you're filming. GoPro cameras are really great. We use them all the time for underwater shots. We use them for close-up shots, especially in a boat fishing situation. The only thing you got to understand about these point of view cameras is that if you're on a subject very far away, or you're shooting an arrow or something like that, you want to capture the arrow going through the air, or if you're looking at a deer 100 yards out, the further you get away from these little cameras, the smaller your subject is going to be. So we like to keep these cameras and use them within a 20-foot span, a 20-foot area. And another thing, a lot of these little cameras, the audio is not the best. You can get microphones for these cameras. Sometimes it defeats the purpose of what you want to use the camera for, but we have some microphones that plug into them, and it does help them quite a bit. But, you know, if you can do it, don't go out and film without one of these little cameras. They work really good, and they'll help your filming situations a whole bunch. Big cameras, this is an older camera. It's a standard definition. We used it for a long time filming. If you get a chance to get one, they still work real good. However, this camera right here really I think has just as good a picture quality as a high definition camera, except for the fact that it's only standard definition, which in maximum terms is 720 to 480. Standard definition won't show full screen on your television, so you just got to keep that in mind. Not that there's anything wrong with the filming capability of these cameras, it's just that with everything going high definition, you may want to stay that way right now. I don't know, you know, I'm sure there's some things I forgot. We'll do another video at another time. I hope I was able to show you some things here that will help you in your filming adventures. If you enjoy it as much as I do, you're trying to improve every time you go out and film in something a little bit better with a little bit better technique or a little bit better shot. So just keep practicing out there and don't get discouraged. It can be very frustrating sometimes, you know, when you're trying to control the situation or the filming situation, it just doesn't work out that way. So if you would, just go ahead and please subscribe to our channel. And we'd really appreciate it if you subscribe, because subscribers like you is what keeps us going. So until the next video, we hope we was able to show you a few things. And I'm Jim from Outdoor Adventure Productions. We'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching.